Hello everybody, my name is Trey, also known as Better Unprofessional, and welcome back to another video. But today is going to be a little bit of a different one, as I'm going to be reviewing the 1.16 update. I know it came out a while ago, but I wanted to get my thoughts on most of the new blocks in the game. So we'll start over here, and this shrubbery thing, in my opinion, it's okay. What is it called? Crimson Roots. It's fine. Um, it does add more foliage, which I think was much needed. It was one of the things that the Nether was definitely missing, and it's a good thing that they added it. But I think they probably could have done more with the texture. It just looks like red grass. It's kind of boring. It looks a little messy, Which, I mean, it's okay in some regards, but in my opinion, they could have done a better job, such as with the warped roots here, which I think looks a lot better than the crimson roots. It's just a better grass in general. Also, the twisted vines and the creeping vines, these are both very good additions that I quite like, and I think they're a great addition, as well as the trees, which sprout from fungus, which I think is kind of cool. I like that they added that. So the warped fungus and the crimson fungus, these are like the nether saplings, which I think was a fantastic idea by the Minecraft devs. And next we have all the tree blocks here. So we've got the shroom lights, which in my opinion, are probably my second favorite added thing in the game. They're essentially just a better glowstone. It looks a lot better than glowstone, and I mean it gives off the same amount of light probably, and breaking it is just satisfying. I have block sound turned off. But yeah, so that's the shroom lights, and then we have the crimson wood here, which I don't know. I like the warped wood better, but the crimson wood, it's nice to have more red blocks in the game, but sadly it looks more purplish. I think it would be cool to have just red wood, where it's more of this red consistency or color that the nether warp block is. If we had more of those blocks in the game, I think that would be a great addition. And the blue, I think it's great to have another blue block in the game, just like with the purple and the red. I think that Minecraft did a great job in adding the trees and whatnot. And I think the biome that we're in, the Soul Sand Valley, I think it's very cool that they managed to add biomes in the once desolate Nether. But I probably couldn't go back to the old Nether now that I've played single player in the 1.16 Nether. It's just so much nicer here. One thing that they did do to the Nether is, with this update, intentional or not intentional, I don't know, is they made it a lot harder to get around, beat the game, It just made it harder in general to traverse the Nether and get blaze rods or other stuff like that. But considering that they added a whole plethora of new blocks, that might just have come with the territory. And so here we have the mobs. We've got our friend the zombified piglin. And let's see, it's sad that they got rid of the original zombie pigman, but I mean, the zombie piglin's a fine. It's just, whenever you look at this thing, you're reminded of the old zombie pigman. So, that comes with a little bit of sadness. And then over here we've got the hoglin. These things are brutal. They hurt so much. Even with full netherite armor, they do like 3 plus hearts. And I used to have a piglin over here. Let me spawn that in. Alright, so I've spawned in the piglin, and we got a baby. But these, I really like the addition of this. Yes, piglin bartering is quite overpowered. You can get pretty much everything from it that you could ever want from the nether besides maybe the tree stuff. But I think the addition of having another bartering semi-aggressive mob, I think that's very cool. And also the addition that if you're wearing gold, it will prevent them from attacking you. I think that's quite a neat touch that they did. I think just that's a good addition overall. And then over here we've got just miscellaneous blocks. The lodestone I haven't messed around with a bunch, but I think in single player it's just it's expensive, which is why I don't think we're gonna see it being used very often in non-creative games and stuff like that. Ancient debris, uh let's see, ancient debris. I like the texture a lot. It's very distinct. You can always tell when you find one and you're out there mining, which is it's great. And the other thing that I like is it doesn't TNT won't explode it, which and you can push it and pull it with a piston, which gives it very unique properties that can be used in many farms and whatnot. Alright, and so now the respawn anchor. This is a block that I have used in when I was taking on a nether fortress in my single player world. It is super useful. The only problem I have with it is it's super expensive, which I mean, yeah, it's expensive to use, it's not super expensive to make because it takes one glowstone every time you die. As long as you don't die too much, it's not too bad, but still, it's sometimes a nuisance to use because of how expensive it is if you don't have a piglin bartering farm. Which, I mean, if you do, then it's not so bad. Or a witch farm. Alright, so now we've got the netherite block. I love this texture. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite textures in the game right now because it looks awesome. But it is so expensive. It's ridiculous how expensive the thing is. You have to be mining for so long just to get one block, and so building with it, if you're not in creative, I'm not going to say it's impossible because it's doable. It's just, man, why do they have to make this thing so darn expensive? It could have been like a block of diamond with a netherite ingot. I think that would have been a much better price to make it, and it could have been so much more accessible instead of the 9 netherite ingots needed. I think you need 36 ancient debris to craft one of these. It's so expensive. And then we have the other one of my favorite blocks from this update. We've got Blackstone. So most of these have the stairs and the slabs and the walls, and it acts, I'm pretty sure in one of the updates, it just acts like cobblestone now, which is, it's neat, and it's a very good building block. We definitely needed more black blocks in the game. And the gilded blackstone I think is kind of cool because occasionally it'll give you gold, but the only place you can find it is in bastions. You cannot craft it, to my knowledge. Which, I mean, I think that's a unique thing for not many other blocks have that in the game. So I think that I will teleport over to the different biomes and I can give my opinion on them from there. So we'll start with the Soul Sand Valley. I already said it before, but I think that the Soul Sand Valley it was much needed, and I think the blue fire was a great addition, along with the blue campfires, blue torches, blue lanterns. The gas being able to spawn here it's it's a cool addition. I mean, it's fine. But the skeletons, I think that was an interesting idea to have skeletons spawn here, along with the bone blocks. I'm fairly sure that bone blocks don't really spawn anywhere else, to my knowledge, in the normal Minecraft world, except for, yeah, I think. And so I think having them spawn here, I think it makes it just more accessible for people who don't have skeleton farms and whatnot. And the basalt columns that you see everywhere, I think these are a cool addition too. It just adds more variety to the Nether, which I think that's what we were all looking for in this Nether update, just more variety. And I think we definitely got that. It's much more varied in the whole Nether is just more varied now, and it's very nice. Here's the Nether fortress. We actually got pretty lucky here. That's the other thing. The Nether fortresses, they don't spawn nearly as often as they used to, in my opinion. They're very difficult to find because it is so difficult to traverse the Nether. So finding one of these just to beat the game, if you start it up in 1.16, it makes it very difficult to find it and get to the Ender Dragon so you can get your Elytra. It's easier to find them after you beat the game, which it might be a good thing. It might make it so that you have to play the game longer and whatnot. But yeah. So this is the Nether Wastes biome. I mean, as the name describes, it's pretty much it's a waste. It's got nothing interesting here. But it's pretty much just what the old Nether used to be. So if you want a blast from the past, I guess you come here, and I mean, it's not super interesting. This is why we wanted another update in the first place. So I'll see you guys when we get to a warped forest and a crimson forest. These crimson trees, they grow. I think the way that they grow is quite interesting and unique. They've got the droopy branches, or in other words, leaves, I guess, and they've got the vines growing on them, which is good because if these blocks weren't readily available, such as the vines and the netherwort, no one would use them, and that would be quite sad to see these new trees and stuff, and you would not be able to get a hold of any of the interesting blocks that just got added to the game. So I think it's good that they grow in this way, that it's easy to harvest and stuff. But the other thing that I think is interesting about these trees is they can grow to be 20 plus blocks tall, such as this tree. This tree is huge. It's got a bunch of wood, and the shroomlights always spawn at the top, which I think it's cool. It's a good touch. So I'll see you guys at the warped forest. Alright, so here we are at the warped forest, and one thing I wanted to talk about that I forgot is the Nylium. I think this is it's a good change to Netherrack to make it so it stopped being so monotonous and boring, and I really like the Nylium edition, and it's quite cool that you can bone meal it and see it spread. I think that's another cool addition. And the trees are much the same as the Crimson Forest, but I like the blue of the Nether warp blocks. Is it warped warp blocks better in the warped forest? It's just more interesting. The other thing that I find interesting about this that they did was they made it so Endermen spawn here, which pretty much only Endermen and maybe Ghasts spawn here. There's no piglins, there's no skeletons really. So it makes getting Enderman and Ender Pearls easier if you're beating the game. and doable, because if you're in the Crimson Forest, you can trade for the Ender Pearls with the Piglins. If you're in the Warped Forest, then you can farm or just chop up all the Endermen and whatever. If you're in the Soul Sand Valley biome, then you're kind of stuck. I do believe Endermen spawn there, but not as often as in this biome. And so here we have a Bastion, which I think this is another great addition to the game. We needed more structures than just the Nether Fortress, and I think the Bastion does a great job of. Here's some of the Bastion loot of sprucing up the Nether, just making it look better. Let's see, what else do we got here? More gilded blackstone, lots and lots of gold. We've got Soul Speed 3. Yes, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. The Soul Speed 3 books is the only new enchantment, and it makes it so you can run super fast on Soul Sand, which, I don't know, it's probably good for early game Nether travel, but when you get to the late game, just a boat on ice, I believe, is faster. So so if you're just trying to get around quick, small places, and you don't want to get in a boat, Soul Speed on the Soul Sand it's always good to have on your boots. The only problem I have with that is it takes up durability, which can be countered with Unbreaking. I believe that reduces how often it takes a durability off of your boots, and also with the new netherite boots, you can get a very, very large amount of use out of it with the Soul Speed enchantment. I don't know if it's worth putting on your boots, because I do not have it on mine, in my world, but I think it is an interesting enchantment. You get speed on some blocks, but you get durability taken away. Is it worth it? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.